Hey, it's Jang here from Ultimate RC and RCmania.com, the place for toy grade RC reviews. Now, I reviewed previous versions of the Havoc Heli in 2007 and 2009. This is the latest version currently on store shelves right now in the first half of 2011. And this one introduces not only a new body design, but also promises to have more control. 5 directions of control, they say right here on the box. But before we get to that, there's one nice thing that I wanted to point out that they added now, which comes really from the Pocket Copter. It was the first time they used this, I believe. It is adjustable center of gravity. It has a little weight on a fin that you can slide back and forth, and depending upon where you put that, it'll change the pitch of the helicopter. That's its forward to back angle, which would change how fast it moves forward or if it'll try to hover. Previously, you had to do this yourself using little aluminum tape that they would include with the package. Now the controller includes both your normal up-down motion on the left stick, and on the right stick you have your yaw or turning. You also have trim for your yaw, and I'm glad that they now include this sticker here telling you how to use the trim, because that information's always been in the manual, but nobody reads the manual, so folks are always asking, how do you stop it from spinning? It's right there. But now we have 2 new buttons up here on the top. The button on the left is to make the craft move forward. The button on the right is to make it move forward even faster. The Havoc has never had this. That's normally a 3-channel helicopter control. They also have one more thing, a light, which you can remotely turn off and on right from the remote. Cool little added on feature. But of course, what matters the most is how this thing flies, so let's see now. Once I got it trimmed up, I was flying it just like a normal Havoc Heli, like the previous versions, not using the new forward buttons at all. I had the counterweight on the tail all the way towards the rear to keep the speed down. It felt like it was flying a little bit slower than the previous version that I tested in 2009, but not a whole lot. Overall, the flying dynamics really felt the same. It turns very smoothly to the right, but when you try to turn to the left, it kind of spins out pretty quickly. Next, I moved the counterweight halfway forward just to see what the difference would be in how fast this craft flies. And it definitely made a very noticeable difference. It was now flying much faster and it was a lot harder to control. Had to be really on the ball with the steering to make sure that it didn't run into any walls. I eventually settled on keeping the weight all the way to the rear to keep the speed down, and I tried using those go forward buttons on the top of the transmitter. They did work, making the craft temporarily go a little bit faster forward until it would get kind of out of control. But since the craft is always flying forward, it really wasn't as big of a difference as I was hoping for. I was hoping to be able to kind of hover and then just go forward when I wanted to. Didn't really work out that way. It's actually pretty much impossible to see on video when I was pushing the button and when I wasn't. The Havoc Heli is always moving, and the person flying it is always struggling to keep it under control. In the end, I had the most fun and success just keeping the counterweight all the way to the rear and not even touching those go forward buttons. It was a lot smoother, slower, and easier to control. Learn more about the Hogs Havoc Heli in my full review at RCmania.com, where I also share my full impressions of the product. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.